can very well determine whether or not gas flows to Europe may or may not be interrupted. I'm joined now by the CEO of Naftogaz Ukraine. Thank you so much for being here. You're here not just meeting with us, you're meeting with the Secretary of Energy, you're meeting with executives at JP Morgan, with institutional investors. Why the United States and why now?
It is very important for us to make sure that our position in negotiations with Gazprom is heard and understood. And that's actually the key idea of our visit, to explain what is happening and why it is so difficult to reach consensus with our Russian counterparts.
So you're in direct negotiations with Gazprom. How is that going so far?
Not much progress. We engaged the European Commission to help us on that. We've been talking for 6 months, but still no consensus is there. And our main concern is whether Gazprom is prepared to strike any deal at all.
What happens if Gazprom doesn't strike a deal? What happens if you don't come to a consensus, a resolution?
We've also filed our case to Stockholm arbitration. So there is also another route where we can make Gazprom to sign the deal through the court proceeding. However, we'd prefer to have it out of the court.
How big is the fear, though, that Russia will cut off supplies? I mean, they've done it before. They threatened to do it as recently as 2 months ago.
The fear is based on high probability that this could happen. This already happened in 2009, and we believe that this crisis may be used by Gazprom to promote their long-term strategic interests, though they can fail. For example, South Stream. We understand that Gazprom believes that if there is crisis, Gazprom CEO may try to convince Europe that South Stream is an absolute necessity. But this can have an absolutely opposite effect as well.
You're the guy that everyone's going to come to and say, how could you not come to a resolution when you have Russia saying that you owe them up to $2 billion more, and then your energy minister saying that it's actually Russia that owes Ukraine money because we overpaid for gas? I mean, how do you resolve that?
We are prepared to pay our debts, provided there is a deal on the table. The worst thing which can happen, we pay our debts, we make concession, though there is also some arrears to us from Gazprom, and then there is no deal. It's a very simple position from Ukrainian side. Give us a contract. We sign the contract. This contract guarantees that there is a gas supply in the winter, and then there is a deal.
When is the cutoff date when you say either, yes, we've reached a deal, or no dice?
I'd say there is no such a thing as cutoff date.
Okay.
We can negotiate for a long time. But the winter is coming, the gas is needed, there is a deficit of gas in Ukraine.
Politics obviously plays a huge role in this. How important is Russia's energy card? I mean, we've seen them use it as a weapon before. It got even more intense with the crisis in Ukraine. I mean, we're still seeing shelling in eastern Ukraine. Does that worry you? Does that keep you up at night?
Yes, it does. That also creates significant problems for Naftogaz as a company, because overall economy is in downturn. There are economic problems, there are problems with currency exchange, and that makes our life difficult.
You've been at Naftogaz in various positions for a while now. Were you privy to the negotiations before? Because once you took over, I mean, the crisis in Ukraine was already there. How are negotiations different?
Previously, Russians would negotiate in a very simple way. Here's our position. Please accept it. If you don't like it, you can leave. Come tomorrow. Please accept our position. If you don't accept it, you can come tomorrow. That's how it was.
But if they don't accept it, you're also going to have a lot of very angry Ukrainians and possibly very angry Europeans.
Yes. On the other hand, Ukrainians will be even more angry if we pay money and have no gas. I would assume that's something nobody wants. Gazprom is actually part of Russian government machine. Sometimes it looks very much like a part of Russian army. The way
really?
Yes.
How so?
Because if there is, for example, like, look at the situation right now. They've cut gas supply to Europe by 50%. That means 50% less revenue. Then looking at Gazprom management, for example, Mr. Miller, who's a very sharp guy, he understands the financial consequences of such decision, but still he follows that decision. And I'm pretty much sure it's not something he would like to do. It's not his decision. It's just the overall geopolitical strategy of Russia to show to Europe and Ukraine how important their energy supply is. But the way they're showing it, it's like they may be good in tactics, but from strategic point of view, they are losing both Europe and Ukraine, firstly as a market, secondly as a reliable partner. And that's something, when it's destroyed, it's very difficult to get back.
Andrei, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.